Welcome to Tabernacle Talk. Tabernacle Talk is a Bible study podcast brought from Tabernacle Baptist Church in Essex, Maryland. I'm your host, Brian Self. We hope this podcast encourages you to know Christ, grow in His Word, and show His love to others. Let's dive right in. Welcome back to Tabernacle Talk. We are walking through Book 5 of Psalms together, and today we are in Psalm 121. And this is another one of the Song of Ascents. Think like ascend a mountain. Specifically, these are the songs. There's 15 or so of these Song of Ascents that the children of Israel, they would sing these as they went up to Jerusalem 3 times annually for the different feasts, to remember what the Lord had done for them, to worship together. And so this is one of those songs. So even as we walk through it, you're going to think this is a song for a road trip. And this is particularly a song of God's safety for us on our road trip. So I just love kind of the thought of that. It seems so incredibly specific to me. I know in some Christian traditions, they even think of, particular people that followed the Lord in years gone by, and because they went through a particular scenario, they think of that person as, you'll hear the phrase, the patron saint of this or that or the other. And so I'm sure that there's someone that's a patron saint of trips or something like that, that people have labeled. But I'm thankful for the Lord's care of us, even in just everyday normal things, that God cares enough about, even road trips, so to speak, that He put songs into Scripture written by His people so that we would know that He cares for us and loves us in every scenario of life. Well, let's read through. I believe there are 8 verses here in this psalm. Verse number 1, I lift my eyes toward the mountains. Where will my help come from? My help comes from Yahweh, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not allow your foot to slip. Your protector will not slumber. Indeed, the protector of Israel does not slumber or sleep. Yahweh protects you. Yahweh is a shelter right by your side. The sun will not strike you by day, or the moon by night. Yahweh will protect you from all harm. He will protect your life. Yahweh will protect your coming and going, both now and forever. Man, what a great portion of Scripture. I've told you guys before the story of my first year in full-time ministry. My church was robbed. I had some stuff that was stolen that was there. My coworkers and things did as well. And so it was really difficult for me for about year and a half to even be able to sleep without a light on. And this particular psalm, to me, just gives so much comfort. I got a lot of my comfort actually from Psalm 3. Was one of the passages that the Lord used to kind of bring some peace back into my heart. And so I think here that this might be very helpful for someone as they're walking through a hard time. Or maybe you might be like these pilgrims and you have some road trip that you're going on, and so Psalm 121 can be a help to you. Let's begin in verse number 1. He says, I lift my eyes toward the mountains. Where will my help come from? Now you might say, okay, what's up with this thing about the mountains? This could be that, as with many times in David's life, he would hide in the different, caves and crags of the mountains, and it would provide safety for him. So it might be he's looking towards the mountains and going, yeah, I can stay there for a little bit, but that's not going to help me. The mountain caves can't even provide me with ultimate safety. Might be a place to hide. Mountains were also very often viewed as a symbol of God's stability and his deliverance, that just as unshakable as the mountains, so unshakable was God's care. Or sometimes the mountains were seen as a kind of looming menace. You can think, I really, really love The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and the precursor to those, the Silmarillion. And in those books, you have the mountains are always a really dangerous place. It's a place where, you could easily fall off a cliff or something like that. Even when you dive into the mountains and you have mines and things, there's dangerous things in there. So in whatever way that we're intended to think through the mountains, whether it is a temporary place of safety, a reminder of God's steadfastness and his protection and his help, or a kind of like dangerous or uncertain time, you can know that God is your helper. In each of those scenarios, the answer is God's our help. He is our the word here is the word Ezer. It's like in Genesis 2, where Eve is described as the helper suitable for Adam. It's the Ezer. It's the one who comes alongside and kind of like protects, defends someone. And so the psalmist, verse 1 says, "Where will my help come from?" Verse 2 says, "My help comes from Yahweh, the maker of heaven and earth, the skies and the land." Just as with Genesis 1, in the beginning, God created the skies and the land, the heavens and the earth. God made everything, and so you don't have to fear the mountains. I get a little squirrely in wintertime when I'm driving. The only like car, I'll say quote unquote accident thing that I've had is my daughter had just been born like 3 months before, and we had come back from visiting Maryland, from visiting my in-laws. This was back when we were in Washington, and we were going to take her to a doctor's appointment of some sort, and we were going down the hill like 45 seconds from my house and hit this little patch of ice. I was going like maybe 15 to 20 miles an hour, so I was going 10 to 15 under the speed limit, and just hit this patch of ice, and we slid and like totally messed up the front left part of my tire, and had to get it towed. It was the whole thing. So whenever it gets to really slick weather now, I get really nervous, but I'm thankful that I am able to know, okay, God, you are the one that made snow and ice and the weather and the wind and the overcast skies and all of it. And so, God, I can just rely on you. I can trust that whatever plans you have for me are good, that I am not going to be any better off through worrying and stressing about my circumstances. And so I can just say my help comes from you because you made it all. And so I can trust you as I traverse it all. This would be certainly one of the things that many Israelites would often think as they journeyed up into the mountains. It's kind of more of a mountain range around Judah, especially from some of the flatter places that there are in Israel. And so as they are traveling up these hills, they go, okay, I lift my eyes toward the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from Yahweh, the maker of heaven and earth. Then here's some promises in verses 3 and 4. He will not allow your foot to slip. Your protector will not slumber. Indeed, the protector of Israel does not slumber or sleep. God is never taking time off. I'm a human. I have to take time off. I am not immortal. I'm not the Energizer Bunny. And so there are very often times and days where I just have to step back and say, okay, God, I've done all I can do. And so now I just need to rest. I need to spend time with family. I need to, frankly, just spend some time in joyful worship just personally. I need to, do some sort of a hobby thing that I'm able to enjoy my life. Because for me, I have a very kind of obsessive personality. And so it can be super easy for me to just totally dive into my work because I love it. I'm all about it. And so from the moment that I wake up, I can be listening to a podcast either on, the Bible, theology, leadership, churches, whatever. And I can just do that all day, every day because I love it. But I have to remember I'm not the one that gives my life meaning or purpose. God does. And I'm not the one that accomplishes everything that my life needs. God is the one that will accomplish all that truly needs to happen. And so I can work hard, I can spend time, I can study, I can, record Tabernacle Talks. But at the end of the day, what I need is my relationship with God. And part of that relationship is realizing, God, you're the one in control. I'm not in control. So help me kind of disavow myself of that misunderstanding. So I love here, verse 3, he says, he will not allow, sorry. I was talking about the slumbering and sleep. God never takes a day off. We need a day off. That's why God gave us the Sabbath. He says the Sabbath was made for man. It's not something that we have to serve the Sabbath. He says, man was not made for the Sabbath, but Sabbath for man. And so, we should take times when we slumber, times when we sleep in, times when we, take a day off, have a day of rest within your life. For me, that's Fridays. I'm not doing my sermon prep in normal weeks. I'm not doing any sermon prep on Friday. I am not answering emails. I will still take a phone call from someone else, but I'm not calling anyone on any work related things. And I would encourage you, have a day where you just set aside to the Lord. You're not working, you're not putting in a ton of effort. You're just rejoicing in what God has already given you, and spend time with family and just operate in that. That's very, very, very good. Couple books I might recommend for you. The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, which if I remember correctly, that's John Mark Comer that wrote that. There's also a book, Practicing the Way, by John Mark Comer, that goes through some spiritual disciplines. And one of those is practicing Sabbath. I also know, Charlie Kirk. Many of you might know that name even from the headlines not too long ago. He actually just wrote a book on the Sabbath. I forget if it was shortly before he passed or if it was published posthumously after he passed, that he had already been writing and then it was released. But I'd encourage you, if for no other reason than, hey, cool, this is, somewhat current in today's day and age, that might be a good thing for you to take a look at. If you have read that book, let me know. Drop it in the comments. I would love to hear what your thoughts were on that. But those would be some resources that kind of talk about Sabbath and rest, that we recognize God is the only one that is unceasing in his work. He never slumbers. He never sleeps. He is our protector. He's the one that cares for us. And I love that promise at the beginning of verse 3. He will not allow your foot to slip. You can't even slip without God intentionally allowing it for your good and for his glory. And that is a comfort to me. So often I fear what might happen to me, because there's not a guarantee from God that says, Brian, you will always have, this amount of money that you're making, and you will always have this house, and you will always have your health in these areas, and you will always have this many people in your church. Because I don't have any of those promises from God, sometimes I can get really nervous to go, okay, well, kind of anything's fair game. I can't lose Jesus, but other than that, God hasn't guaranteed me anything. But verses here in verse 3 and in Psalm, I forget if it's 90 or 91 that we went through. I think it's 91, are such a comfort to me, that they communicate God's regular mode of operations for my existence, is that God is not plotting evil against me, but he is plotting my good, and that there is an active protection from the Lord in every moment of my life. And if at any time I do experience the hardships, then I can know, like, this isn't some random circumstance. This is God specifically allowed this hardship, and he has not allowed so many other hardships to take place. But these ones he did, and it was for a purpose. I think about Job's story, that Satan complains to God, and he says, well, yeah, Job loves you, but it's because you have put a hedge of protection around him so that I can't do anything to him. And there obviously came those days where Satan did get to attack Job, and he did get to hurt him in incredible ways. But I think too often in the story, we focus on God allowing Satan to tempt or test Job that one time. And we neglect to appreciate the fact that Satan had tried so many times before and had failed. God had said, no, you can't have him. And that's a comfort to me to know, God, you are actively protecting me from things that I will never know this side of eternity. I just love that thought. That's a real encouragement to me. Verse number 5, Yahweh protects you. Yahweh is a shelter right by your side. I love that. God's not super far off somewhere. He is right by me. And we can think of even the Holy Spirit now living and dwelling inside of us, that he is right there and he feels everything that we feel. And what a joy that is. Verse number 6, the sun will not strike you by day or the moon by night. Here I love this picture. I'm sure that there are I know that there's a lot of ways that someone could take it. Mentally, I have like kind of a cartoony, the sun trying to smack you. That's the kind of mental picture that I have here. This just tells you I'm very human. This is the way that this is processing in my head. But here, in one of my study Bibles, one of the notes for there says, God protects his people from the perils of the road by day or by night. So here there's not going to come this evil against you during the daytime as you're traveling on the road to Jerusalem, and there will not come any perils attacking you at night as you sleep and as you rest. And I love this, that whether you can control it or not, whether you can see it or not, God is there for you, and he is protecting you all day, every day, in every season. And then verses 7 and 8, Yahweh will protect you from all harm. He will protect your life. Yahweh will protect your coming and going, that's going to Jerusalem and coming back from it, both now and forever. We have an eternally protecting God who loves us, who cares about us, who his design for us is for our good. And because he protects us from so many things, when we go through hard times, when we find out that there is a temptation or a test or a difficulty, we can know God has this for a specific purpose for this time. Well, I hope Psalm 121 was an encouragement to you. There is a song that was written from Psalm 121 by Sovereign Grace Music. I've attached that to the show notes. In the description, you can find that. You can click that. It is called "He Will Keep You," and it's a beautiful song. And really encourage you to listen to that. Tomorrow we're going to be in Psalm 122.